So a lot of you guys have been asking me, how can I climb out of bronze as quickly and as efficiently as possible? So me personally, I don't play in bronze. What I do is my deck is built for silver, but I make sure that I have enough CP so that at the end of the season, I can click into gold, get into gold 3. I've got just over 100,000 CP, click into gold, and then when the new season starts, I drop a whole league and I start in silver 3. So I completely avoid bronze because I know of how much of a hellhole it is. I think climbing out of bronze is way harder than climbing out of silver and out of gold. But there will be some of you guys that are doing it, and I'm here to help. So the way I put it is that there are two summoners that are in a class of their own. There are two summoners that are decently good at doing it, especially if you have the funds, then it's very easy. And then there are two summoners that I would just avoid just for bronze. So the very first one, I'm going to start with the worst and then I'm slowly going to get better. And the list might surprise you, it might not. But the very first one is I would avoid death and dragon. So let's start with death. So the reason I'm saying you stay away from death is because if you look at the summoners, you're countering the enemy, so you're taking away their melee, you're taking away their archers, you're taking away their magic. So one, you're playing a guessing game with what you think they're going to play. Obviously, there'll be certain situations where it's very predictable with what they're going to play. So when there's a rule set that says only melee, when you look at their past history and it's only fire melee, then it's easy to guess. But more importantly, when you're playing this game, it's a lot better to buff your own units, and then you decide how you play. So if you want to play a melee strategy, it's better to buff your melees and attack with your melees. If you want to play magic, it's better to buff your magic than it is to counter your magic. Death gets very strong after bronze. So before bronze, it's pretty weak, especially with the fact that you're going to just take away their abilities. But once you get out of that mentality and you can start and the other thing is you got less mana in bronze. So once you have more mana and you can then work around strategy and then you can counter the enemy's deck, it's a lot nicer than if you got 15 mana and you play a tank and then one stealth card. It's better to play a tank and a stealth card that both get the +1 damage than trying to guess what they're going to play, if they're going to play archers with a tank, or they're going to play magic with a tank, or double melee. So it's just, yeah, I would avoid death. I'm not saying that there aren't good death cards. If I had to recommend death cards for you guys, I definitely would recommend renting a Twisted Jester, because for 4 mana you won't get better value than a snipe, 2 damage, 4 HP, and 3 speed card. Fantastic. Haunted Spirit also up there. Anything that has self-heal is always good. But I still would say, I'd still recommend avoiding death. Dragon is also on this list. So the reason I say that Dragon, or I've taken Dragon out of the rental system, is that because Dragon is the most unique Splinter in that you can use all the cards with any of the different other splinters or other elements, the problem is that they normally charge a premium on this. So because you have all this flexibility and adaptability, you pay for it. And the way you pay for it is with mana. So you can look at cards like a Daria Dragonscale. You get +1 damage. You compare that to a Malric Inferno, where you would get +1 damage. Or a Tarsa, where for the same amount of mana, you get it also +1 HP. You compare a Neb Seni, where you pay 4 mana and you get +1 speed. You can compare that to a Pyrie, 1 more mana. You can look at a Darwin Dragonscale. That's 5 mana, compared to a Ulrich Stormbringer, which is 3 mana. So for this dragon and elitism, you pay for it with mana. And when you're in bronze, you don't have the mana to waste on a dragon summoner or a dragon card, because you're going to be paying 1 to 2 more mana just to use dragon cards, and that 1 or 2 more mana is better used on smaller cost and cheaper minions. So for that reason alone, I recommend staying away from dragon. If you really need to pick up something, you pick up a Brighton Bloom, and that's only for Earthquake games, just because in Bronze and Silver, a Brighton Bloom will give you such a good advantage in Earthquake games, because you can give your frontline tank, which usually doesn't have flying, the ability of flying, so you'll have this big strong super tank, and in Bronze, 2 damage every turn is a lot. So you'll be able to survive a lot longer than their frontline tank, and then your frontline tank will destroy the rest of their team, especially if they put in weak 2 to 3 mana cost flying minions. So that's Death and Dragon. Coming in next is going to be Fire. So Fire, I love Fire. There's a decent strategy to it. It's not a bad way to climb out of Bronze if you have the cards or the money. So typically the way I would climb out of using Fire, the cards I would rent is I would play my Tarsa, so I get the +1 melee, +1 HP. The cards that I would pair it with, apart from having your free cards such as your Living Lava, if you don't know what that is, I'll show it to you. But I'm expecting you guys to know what a Living Lava is by now. But it's this really good untamed tank. Some of the cards that I would recommend you pick up is a Cerberus. So the reason you pick up him is that giving him +1 melee, +1 HP, you've suddenly got a 3 damage, 6 HP frontline tank that has self-heal. The other card I highly recommend you pick up is the common Cobalt Miner. Beautiful card. For 2 mana, you're going to get a 2 damage, 3 HP, 2 movement speed, sneak attack monster. And then suddenly what you're getting is for 6 mana, you're going to get a 2 damage, 3 HP sneak, and a 3 damage, 6 HP self-healing tank, compared to people that would just be playing with a Living Lava. So you've already got a good combo. You can combine that with the Serpentine Spy if you have the extra cash, or more importantly, the extra mana, because if you think mana-wise, you're spending 4 mana on your Summoner, 4 mana on your Cerberus, 2 mana on your Cobalt Miner. That's already 10 mana. Most times you'll have 3 more mana left, in which case you'll just drop in your Serpentine Spy, and then you'll have a 3 mana opportunity with 1 more damage, 1 more HP. Not bad. If you're playing with a lot more mana, say a 20 mana game, which is a little bit more uncommon in Bronze, but if you're playing with more mana, definitely pick up a Finis Rage. Then you'll have a 3 damage, 5 speed, 9 HP secondary tank behind your Cerberus, and you'll just basically win with melee, because then even if it's higher mana, you can also add in your Striker. Obviously armor will counter your deck hard, but your melee damage will be fantastic. Moving on, next is Water. So Water, really good. It just depends which build you go. So with Water, there's 2 ways about it. The one option is you have to go the magic route, in which case it will be a bit more expensive, but you're basically going to rent your Ulrich Stormbringer and you're going to go classic magic damage all the way, or you're going to go very expensive and you're going to go Valnamore, and that's basically, you don't need to go this, and typically you won't actually have the mana to spend, but both of these options are very easy to climb out of Bronze, because you're just going to go magic, and then you're going to support your magic with such cards. Actually, the reward cards are really good. So the Jin Oceanus, obviously if you can rent a Ruler of the Seas, that'll be fantastic. Wavesmith, just to give yourself Protect, and then you have Magic Protect. You'll be in really good hands. Other good cards to recommend would be, because you're going to only have very little HP, you kind of need the Protect, but this is a 4 mana 2 magic damage card. Really good. You can also add in a Mischievous Mermaid, and you'll be in really good hands to play Magic Water with the Protect. And you can put anything in the frontline tanks. I typically like to use a Spineback Turtle, just because it's super cheap mana wise, and then it just gives you more mana to spend on magic cards. If you don't want to go the magic way, not to worry. What you'll do is you're going to rely purely on either Bortus or a Kyla. I recommend going Kyla. And then what you do is, because she gives you that speed as well as that armor, you don't have to worry about a Wavesmith giving Protect, because you already have extra armor. but you could pick up something like the Axe Master to put in your back line, because he'll do 4 damage with 5 speed, with 6 HP, with 1 extra armor, and then 5 HP. Really good backline archer to do some damage. And then you just fill in all of your stealthy opportunity monsters. So your Cerber Shark, your Deep Lurker will chill in there. I love a Feasting Seaweed and Pellicle Bandit. And then in your front line, you can either have something like a Sea Monster, or you can just rely on the new one, which is the Diamond Shark. Obviously, if you are playing water, I recommend the magic build, but you can also do it with it's not going to be a +1 damage assassin build, but what it is, it's going to be a speed plus armor stealth assassin build. Coming in at number 2 is Life. So Life is really unique in the sense that the reason this is my number 2 splinter to climb out of bronze with, it's purely because of this one card, and that's a Lorna Shine. So what's so special about her is that she gives all monsters a divine shield, which basically means your monsters, you always get basically a free round, because unless they have blast, your monsters get hit, and then they'll block the first hit of any attack, and it applies to your whole army. And obviously, when you're playing in bronze and your monsters are doing 1 or 2 magic damage, or 1 to 3 damage, that extra turn does help a lot, and you win a lot. The other thing is that you're playing low mana, so everyone else is going to be spending maybe 4 mana on their summoners. You're only going to be spending 3 every time, so you've got extra mana to spend. So with you have to go the Lorna Shine. It's just so good not to. And then there's either 2 ways to play it. You're either going to play what we know and love, which is the Assassin Life build. So you'll put in something as your frontline tank, and then you just fill it up with things like your Stitch Lich, your Cave Slug, your Celestial Harpy. You can even get a Feral Spirit. And then I don't like a Silver Shield Assassin at level 1, just because I don't like that it only has 1 damage instead of 2. So I would avoid that. The other way you play it, or you play Life, is with magic cards. So this is how I play Life, and I absolutely love it. Not many people expect it, and then with the Lorna Shine, it's super easy to do really well with it. You pick up your Mistress, because 6 mana for this, fantastic. You pick up the reward card one, which is a Jin Renova, and for 13 mana, you already have 2 magic damage, 6 to 7 HP tanks, or positions 2 and 3s, plus you'll then have your summoners, and then literally your position 1 can just be any frontline tank that you want. A really good one for 3 mana is only a Reflector, but you get the plan. You're just going to win with magic damage. You can even pick up a Dax Paragon, and you're in for a great time. So 2 different ways to play Life, but the most important card has to be your Lorna Shine. She makes the deck, absolutely does. And then finally, the best deck to get out of bronze with has to be Earth. And you're not even going to play, so you can play it 2 ways. You can either play it Magic, but if you want to go the very fancy, quickest way to do it is that you play a Crowling. And the reason you play your Crowling is that Thorns are absolutely broken in bronze. Most monsters do 1 to 2 damage. Most monsters, as you could hear when we talked about the different decks, you're either going to play melee or you're going to play magic. Yes, there's more magic counters in this game thanks to death, but as we said, death is kind of weak when you play in bronze. So people are either going to be playing magic or they're going to be playing assassin melee damage. And that is true for water, or for fire, for life, even for death. That's how you play this game, especially when you're in bronze. You stay away from archers, because archers, when they get into position 1, they can't attack. And you also just don't have the mana for lots of archers to make it viable, as well as the fact that your frontline tanks aren't very strong because they're going to be level 1s and level 2s. So you pick up your Crowling to do Thorn damage because Thorn damage is absolutely broken, and then you just combine it with a free tank that you get, which is the Unicorn Mustang, which has speed, it has damage, it has HP, and it's got Void. So it does all of the magic countering for you, and the Thorns just do all of the melee countering for you, and then behind it you can play whatever you want. So if you feel like being a bit of an assassin, you can be an assassin and play something like a Goblin Thief. If you want to play magic, you can play magic. Some cards that I will recommend, which are both reward cards, is that on the one hand, pick up a Mushroom Seer, really strong card, 2 damage, 3 HP, silence. If they play magic, this basically destroys magic because you'll get this taking away magic, plus you'll have your Unicorn Mustang taking away magic, and most magic cards in bronze don't do more than 3 damage. So at worst case, your Unicorn Mustang will take 1 damage a hit, if not it takes 0. But you do need to combine it with one more card because unfortunately it is a bit weak by only having 3 HP. So you pick up a Queen, and the Queen basically gives you Protect, and that also just solves all of your other problems because you'll have Protect on all of your Earth cards which typically don't have armor, and then it becomes a breeze. Neutral cards. Okay, so these are somewhat important. I would say there are maybe only 3 of them that are very important. So your first one is your Ooze, just because if you have 1 mana spare, you drop it in and it slows all of the enemies. Really good ability, really good card. The next has to be a Chicken. So Chicken, fantastic card. It does the job of all of the different fiends. If you're only going to play, let's say, Life, it might be way cheaper than instead of just picking up a Chicken, you go and you pick yourself up just the Life Fiend, which is there. So you pick up a Fungus Fiend. That's also completely fine. So you pick up your Creeping Ooze, you pick up your Chicken. Another card that I actually really like is if you're playing the melee options, especially with Tarsa, pick up a Battering Ram, because giving this 1 damage, 1 HP, really good. And I mean, you can pick up a Prismatic Energy, it's quite nice, especially with the Magic Reflect. It's a good position too, but honestly that's it. The rest is pretty easy. And yeah, I hope that helps. Those are the cards that I would rent and the different summoners that I would use and avoid. Basically, I would definitely go with Earth. If you don't like Earth, I would still go with Water or Life. And then if you really like Fire, you can play your melee Fire, but it's basically a one-trick pony of just plain melee Fire. And then I would avoid Death and avoid Dragon. Catch you guys in the next video. I really do hope this helps. This video was made possible thanks to our wonderful sponsor Unbound Nation. They are a gaming DAO. They focus on play and earn games. They're currently in Axie Infinity and Peg Axie. They're looking to expand into games like Splinterlands. So if you're looking for a scholarship or a gaming opportunity, join the link in the description below. As you know, there's going to be 1 giveaway per video, and in this video, Okay guys, as you know, the goal is to have 1 giveaway per video, and 2 videos ago, which was the What Have I Been Buying in March video, I told you guys to do your hashtag and do the Pelacor Mercenary and share your in-game name. So I'm just going to quickly do that. So put the video in, searching by Pelacor Mercenary. There are 31 comments, and the winner is... oh shit! It's Batman. Well done, dude. Really good guy. He's been a part of the Discord for a very long time. So I'm going to make sure you get your pack. And then for this video, if you want to do a giveaway, let's do a Sea Genie. So just comment Sea Genie and you will stand a chance of winning a pack.